Hey guys, welcome to a updated video on Nvidia here. We had a move that happened in one of our scenarios that I have mentioned in my previous video. So far, going great. Um, Going back to the previous video real quick, I will talk about what I did and what I'm doing now. Um, Back at the 11960 level, which is where we were talking about multiple times. 11960 run right here. I had a couple of calls on this day. I swung it through the next day. It dipped below the 11960. I held it. I got a couple of trades in. I made some money off it. I still had my swings. And it came back over the 11960. That made me hold on to my swings longer. The next day, we had a nasty dip, which then took me out of my position. Unfortunately, stuff like this happens. There is no perfect way in the market that we can trade. It's unfortunate, but it happens to all of us. I wish it worked out with this beautiful reversal that we had back over 119, and then we continue on from here. But then I took a loss on my calls after the next day happened right here. After that, the 115 level. So this is where I was talking about in previous video. If we break below 11960, we delete the level. We move on to the 119 or we move on to the 115 and 116 area, which is exactly where Nvidia did bounce off of. This is scenario number 2, by the way. Pullback, break below 11960, we tap the SMAs and we reverse off it. So far, that is what we're doing right now. Right now, we are bouncing off of the SMAs around 115.50 area, and it is going very good so far. The bearish engulfing is supposed to signal a move lower, but the confirmation was we had held the 115.50 and we had reversal. So this pretty much canceled out the bearish engulfing, and that is when I swung my calls over here overnight. And we had some news after hours yesterday on the CEO talking about demand is insane and all that. And I was lucky. I mean, lucky plays a good part of my trade, but the main factor of my swing was because we held the 115.50. We canceled out the bearish engulfing on this candle right here, and that made me swing the leftovers of my 122 call, which went 127% overnight. I closed it out for that gain and moved on to my trades from today. I had a win-loss, 4 trades total. It was hard to trade today just because of the intraday action that we have had all day. I was honestly expecting a move higher into the 127 upper range right here, 127, 128. You can see how we had a very strong opening, and then that's when we started to whipsaw the premium right here, which is fine. I'm fine with that. I made money today. I'm gonna wait till the next day. Now, what happened today? We have a beautiful setup forming right here on Nvidia. So this whole setup right here is basically a bullish pennant. Like I said in the previous video, if you don't want to use it, you don't have to. Stick to your levels. If you guys want to add in a pattern or something, go for it. Do whatever makes you feel more confident in your setups and trades. This is basically what we're setting up right now. The whole point of this is that you don't want to get calls when we have to break out, because that pretty much means that you're super late. All of the money that is poured into the trade based on this whole setup will be at the lows. Especially in the bullish pennant, you want to make sure that you're buying longer term plays. If you guys are swing trading long term, you want to make sure that you're buying calls at these low areas. Anywhere in the low, the low right here, the low right here, any low that we see on Nvidia is a very good opportunity. As we get tighter and tighter inside this bullish pennant right now, the triangle is getting smaller. The moves are getting smaller. The retracements, the breakouts, the pullbacks are getting smaller as we go smaller and smaller inside the triangle right here on the bullish pennant. Okay. So right now I currently have swung 126 calls based on the move today. Looking good so far. I'm trying to be as early as possible and as low as possible in Nvidia while we're trying to break out here. We might go up and down for the next few weeks, but the temptation is pretty high. The hype is there. I'm going to take a stab at it and see how we go and react at this 127, 130 area. So that is my reason for swinging more calls again. Right now, very successful move off of the 115, reversed higher into the range again, which is exactly what I pointed out in my last video. I do believe that we can continue higher for the next week or throughout next week towards the top of the range, which we have to take out for bulls because of the supply zone in this area right here. This is the current supply zone that we're struggling to get above on Nvidia. I'm sure one day we'll break out, but it's very, very important to time it well. Make sure you're at the right setup at the right time. So I do think that we can continue pushing hard towards this range of the supply zone, anywhere from the current share price at 123 all the way up to 129 or 130. There's still some money to be made right here, but you want to make sure that you're not buying calls when it's at 130 and stuff like that, okay? That is where the bears will take over, okay? If they see good volume, very high bullish volume, they're definitely going to take over unless something major comes out and sparks the setup, and that's when breakout happens. Shorts get busted, okay? So right now it's looking pretty solid. We might try to break out this time. I could be wrong. This time we can try and see if we can break out of this white line, this bullish pennant. Try for 130 and see if the bulls are strong enough and see if there's anything that can spark the move and that will trigger a breakout towards the all-time highs around 138 to 140. If we struggle to break through 130 or even around this white trend line or anywhere in this range, then we're going to come back down and come back down to 115 or 110s, whatever in this area. But right now, I'm not looking for that. I'm looking for this small little area right here. That's pretty much it on my Nvidia analysis right now. The possibility of this move towards 130 happening is pretty high. I have a high conviction for that setup at the moment. I'm not too heavy. I'm comfortable with what I have right now of the 126 call that I swung. We'll see how it goes. It's looking pretty solid. Just be careful of your calls, of your entries in that area of 127, 129.